Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Dar. The gods have put that mark on you, and someday you'll find out why. Dar.
This is episode 255, recorded March 15th, 2024.
Dar.
Gruesome Magazine.
Dar. We should have just put Dar 1, Dar 2, and Dar 3 on their names or something. But anyway, my name is Jeff Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. Joining me tonight is not Crystal Cleveland. She is unable to be with us, but we are soldiering on it anyway. Also not with us tonight is Chad Hunt, who's still recovering from all the taglines we've made him read. So, but we do have Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, co-host of Decades of Horror, the 1970s, all-around nice guy, and published author. Oh, awesome.
Look at that. Ooh, you can read it in stereo.
See, mine's at home. I'll have to bring mine up, too.
This is my not yet signed copy.
Well, you bring it with you in a couple weeks.
Signed.
There's, a month or so, and I'll sign
Yeah,
it.
I think Paul can do those signatures, so.
Probably. It's not hard.
Yeah. How you doing, Bill?
Stress for time. This is crunch time. We're about to get into spring break. I'm running off. Off to Canada, where I will see my daughter and a bunch of Canadians and visit with my mom and just whirlwind kind of thing. And hopefully my car will not break down. So yeah.
So is your mom? You mean come back through New York?
Yeah, I just go. I drive to New York, spend some time there, and then it's another 3 or 4 hours to get to Montreal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sending you positive waves for your car.
Thank you.
Also joining us tonight is Renee St. Aubin, who is that? What podcast do you guys do together?
Oh my gosh, it's called the Video Store Junkies.
Yes,
we are the garage band of podcasts.
That's right. We're practicing in the the storage locker, and
which basically means you never know what you're going to play. Right.
It's true.
That's right.
True.
So it's interesting. Check them out. You guys have a YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm. We do.
And on podcasts, I assume, on Apple.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not. The videos are not. Well, some of them are good. Some of them are just kind of just a lot of slides because we're really more podcast based.
Yeah.
So.
Renee is very modest. She's a really good editor, and one of the favorite things that I've done. They took the presentation I did at Dragon Con on unmade movies, and she managed to turn it into like a 3-hour epic. It's great.
That was really so good though. Oh,
I watched the one with the little.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
That was insane. No one. That was amazing. That was a surprise. It's the fun thing. She gets a hold of it and does stuff, and then you're like, wow, I did not expect that at all.
So Renee's been a longtime listener and has made comments, and so we invited her on. Renee, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. You guys are the kings of viewer engagement. Yeah, really.
Are we? Good, that's cool. So anything you want to say about yourself, or?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
There's not much to tell. I'm just a lady. I don't think Paul has ever been on the podcast, but he's done some writing for Gruesome Magazine. He's my brother-in-law.
Paul Cardulo,
yes. He got me it took him a really long time to introduce me to this crew of people, but he finally did get around to it. So that's kind of how I got into the whole mix. Yeah, it was nice.
Okay. Well, we're happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Especially since otherwise it would just be Jeff and I, and there wouldn't be a whole lot to look at there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of jammed. This is a pickup thing around my travel schedule. So I appreciate everybody getting together tonight. So we are partnering with Play Now Media, a streaming service that has a bajillion channels. I forget, were we talking about foreign wrestling? I'll bet they have foreign wrestling on there.
They probably do.
Professional
Sure.
wrestling, Bill.
Why not?
I think it was on 70s. We were talking about that. I know they have a wrestling channel.
That's awesome.
That's
Sasquatch
sweet.
channel, all that stuff. So,
Ooh.
found footage, zombies,
Oh.
Grindhouse. Anyway,
Something for everybody.
yeah. But they carry ours and Decades of Horror. Actually, all of them, 70s, 80s, and the classic era, are all on the Wicked Horror TV channel, which we frequently find subjects for our podcast. So check them out. For a modest fee, monthly fee, you can see their content without ads, or you also get access to some premium content. Even if you don't pay, you get to see the movies with ads, just like some of the other ones, like Tubi and Crackle and those. So check them out. I think you'll be surprised by the content they have. On this podcast, we start out by giving some basic details of the film and some taglines, first impressions, show some posters, talk about the folks in the movie, and then we move on down the road.
And then we read viewer mail. Always the high point.
And then, feedback. We do have some feedback tonight. So I couldn't decide which one of these to use. I'm going with this one. Bill suggested Renee may.
This made me think. This made me feel like Renee would appreciate this particular backdrop.
So the topic tonight is the Beastmaster.
Because she loves the children.
I'm so sorry. Yes, I do. That's great.
Well, I did a mock-up of it just because sort of a tribute to the Black Saint, who was always extorting the values of killing the children in horror movies. But at any rate, and so our topic today is the Beastmaster. For people on audio, what we have here is a picture of Rip Torn as the evil priest throwing a child into a fire pit for sacrifice. So, The Beastmaster, released in 1982, directed by Don Coscarelli. Horror fans should know that name. Written by Don Coscarelli and Paul Pepperman. Based loosely on an Andre Norton novel of the same title, published in 1959. The cast includes Mark Singer, Tanya Roberts, Rip Torn, John Amos, Joshua Milrad. Production company is Leisure Investment Company, Beastmaster NV, and ECTA Film Production, which would appear to be a foreign company. It was filmed in California and Nevada, released August 20th, 1982. And the synopsis: an infant king is rescued from a priest's ritual sacrifice and raised in a humble village. In time, he learns he has the power to communicate with animals, and when the priest's followers destroy his village, he uses his power in a quest for revenge. So if there's anything wrong with that, it's all my fault, because they had one really short one that sounded really stupid and one really long one that also sounded kind of stupid. I kind of mashed them together to try to come up with something of a modest length. So the Beastmaster, and again, that's Rip Torn getting ready to throw a child into the flaming pit.
Oh, the good old days.
Because God, the names in this movie. Okay.
And when you're watching this movie for the first time, you're like, well, so they're going to rescue that. Oh, my God, he just threw a child into a fire. Oh.
Yeah, and as everybody should know by now, we do spoilers. This movie came out 42 years ago. So
yeah, so you know what? If you've been waiting, you're like, no, don't spoil it.
Just stop right now. It's as we record this, it's available on Amazon Prime, so you can check it out and then come back.
If you were alive in the 80s or 90s, you just had to turn on either TBS or HBO, and there was at least a 30% chance one of them was showing Beastmaster.
you.
That's what I heard. What did somebody, was it a listener or somebody else said, what does HBO stand for?
Hey, Beastmaster's on.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's good. It's good. So, Renee, if you don't mind, you picked this movie.
I did.
And so we're going to have you go first in terms of first impressions. When did you see it first? What did you think then? And does it hold up?
Yeah. I first saw this. I was very young. I was maybe like 4 or I was maybe like 4 or 5 when it came out on HBO, TBS. Yeah. So I watched it a lot. And I loved the animals. I loved a lot of things about it. But there were bits that scared the heck out of me when I was a kid. I was convinced that at any time I could be carried to the top of the temple and, tossed over. So it was just one of those things. And the witches, they scared the hell out of me. So it as a child, it lent itself more as like a horror movie. Now, it still has that like fantasy, vibe to it, which is great. And then, there's like cheeky little bits that I pick up on later in time that I didn't as a kid. So as a kid, but I really liked it. I watched it all the time. I loved it. And it still holds up. I still like it. Yeah, it's great.
Cheeky little bits. Like,
yeah.
Why is she wearing those clothes? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks, Renee. Yeah. Bill Mulligan, how about you? When did you first see this?
I think I saw it pretty early on in its run. I saw it at the drive-in.
Ooh.
I can't remember what it was shown with. It may not have had anything to do with anything. They were very weird the way they paired movies at the drive-in. I have a feeling like it was with The Long Riders, which, okay, sure. and I remember thinking, I think I saw this after I saw Conan. And it doesn't measure up to Conan. I really loved Conan, and this one had more sorcery in it. That's kind of cool. I like that. I wish there'd been more sorcery in Conan, but it's definitely lower budget. Though it actually had a bigger budget than I thought. I like the animals. I really did love the ferrets. I mean, they're so much fun, and I like Tanya Roberts. I liked Rip Torn, although I still think then as now I didn't really know who Rip Torn was, but I just got the vibe from him that this is a guy who probably does a lot of theater, and way before Galaxy Quest was even imagined, he was doing the Alan Rickman character. He was, how did it come to this? I did Shakespeare in the Park with Joseph Papp, and now I'm in Mexico with a dyed tiger that they can't control, and I get killed by ferrets, and so good. And then there were some parts that were really weird, like the bat people came out of nowhere and they were genuinely scary. Like, check this movie's rated PG. Wait, we got child sacrifice, flesh dissolving bat people. Yeah, boy, you got away with a lot back in the day. Yeah. So you could tell that the filmmakers had good imaginations. I didn't realize at the time this was by the same people who did Phantasm, and would go on to do some other things. I just always felt that Coscarelli was sort of like, it was around the same time that Sam Raimi was coming along, and there's two people who were making these very low budget films that showed great imagination. Now, he did not go on to have the same level of success that Raimi did. He did some great films, and Bubba Hotep is fantastic. But I feel like it seems like they should have done more with him. But it may be that he chose to do this. Apparently, he turned down Conan the Destroyer because he thought the script was bad. And good call, it was bad. But I would have done Conan the Destroyer if someone offered me a chance to direct an actual Hollywood movie, and I'm a kind of a struggling indie filmmaker. But I guess he has more integrity than I did, so but there you go. It's very cheesy. It's very 80s. It really is. But for that, it's one of the better sword and sorcery films, of which there are not many. So that's kind of faint praise, but I still enjoy it. It's not Conan. It's not nearly as good as Conan. But if you If you can't do Conan, Beastmaster is certainly more available. And I haven't seen any of the sequels. I had no interest in seeing any of the sequels.
No.
Ooh. There's sequels. Okay.
Yeah, there's two, at least two. And a series. I think there was a TV show.
Series.
Yeah.
Hey.
I can't imagine it was good.
All right. Thanks, Bill. Or Dar, I should say.
Dar.
I suspect, and I may be wrong, that I may be one of the reasons we're doing this. Because I think it was when we did Conan and maybe another one. Dragon, what was the...
Dragon Slayer?
Dragon Slayer. I don't know. And people would talk about Beastmaster, and I would admit I'd never seen it, and I was
we had to
chastised
rectify that
severely.
situation.
So now I've seen it. I'm going to start by saying I think this would have been really fun if I'd have seen this when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
Since I'm older than dirt, I don't get it. I just don't get it. You guys are going to have to tell me about it. So yeah, was there some cool stuff? I thought John Amos and Rip Torn were the two best things in the movie. I also liked the Bat people, although I had no idea who they were. There was no explanation whatsoever.
No.
These things just show up, and are they good? Are they bad? They kind of turn out to be good, I guess. They saved Dar. Mark Singer, I'm not a fan of his, and his voice just seemed not appropriate for this character to me. Tanya Roberts was still pretty fresh and not all that good. That's just me. I got tired of him. I'm bashing this pretty bad, and I'll be positive after this, but I got tired of him staring at animals. Oh, and then after we watched him stare at the eagle for like an hour and a half, all of a sudden he starts talking to it. I'm like, well, why didn't you do that to begin with? It seemed like you're having a little trouble with the metal waves there, bud.
We get a bearing on what was going on.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for the tiger because I'm sure they painted him or did something to him that made him black. You'd see that the stripes were showing through, but maybe that's the way they are. But I've never heard of a black tiger, I guess. Maybe there are black tigers. There are black panthers.
Yeah.
But
that's the bittersweet part of it, because I love the animals in the movie.
Yeah.
But then there's certain scenes where you're like, oh, and then you wonder, like, oh, how are they treating those poor little nuggets off the camera? I don't know.
Exactly. And the ferrets, I guess they had a huge number of ferrets there to sub for these.
Because they can't train ferrets.
You can't train them. You just film endless hours of ferrets doing stuff, and then you cut it together in the film. They're worse than cats, and cats are.
And then you do things. I was grimacing when, kind of getting off the first impression, but I was grimacing when Dar ties a string around the one ferret's stomach, and I thought, "What the hell? You're gonna cut him in half if you pull that thing tight."
I just like to think they're well compensated with lots of treatment.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Immediately.
It's a better life.
Yes. Hollywood actor life.
And I remember Crystal talking about how cute they were, and I'm sort of like,
so cute.
They are cute.
Little, long, skinny mustelids that have anal sex scent glands. That's cute, I guess.
Wow, that's one way of putting it. They better not get you writing the brochure at PetSmart.
So, I don't know. It was kind of fun, but I just felt like the main characters they just sort of fell short. Rip Torn seemed like his mouth was always kind of partially open, and I felt like he was trying to show his rotting teeth that they had given him, but it just looked weird.
It did look weird.
All right, I bashed it enough. Towards the end, I enjoyed as it got to the end where they get into kind of like Conan. I like when they get into the all-out battles. When he's just wandering on his journey. I'm just. This is
a lot
pretty.
of rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty. I just got tired of watching the eagle fly around by itself and him trying to connect. And
yeah,
it'd been better if it had been like Tarzan, where he just let out a yell and
Right.
instantly
Then the elephants all
animals
show
do
up.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. I'm being
You know what
I'm
probably
being
would have
kind of
helped though, Jeff?
I
Maybe,
have no idea.
if there were some good taglines.
Oh, you might be right. You might be right. Which means it might now be time for that little thing we usually do. But we've had a Chad is. I just feel
who could
bad.
fill his shoes.
Yeah. Renee. Oh, Renee.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's now time for taglines with Chad.
You get the full 4 creatures.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have put that sign up because well, anyway.
That's okay.
Well, it has this loop
child.
button, and I always forget to turn it off. So it just loops it. So Taglines with Chad is played by Renee.
Okay, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Boy, are we.
The epic adventure of a different, new kind of hero. Yeah.
It was actually showed up in 2 different places. One time with different, one time with new.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know what that dash is, but yeah. He's different and new.
And new, yeah. Mm.
All right. Born with the courage of an eagle, the strength of a black tiger, and the power of a god.
And the attention of a ferret.
Yes. Yes. All right.
That's a standard thing. I think that's a voiceover right at the beginning, isn't it? When he discovers his powers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It is an age of sorcery and savagery, of brave deeds and bloody battles. It is the age of the Beastmaster.
Okay.
That one's not bad.
Not too bad. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here we go. The latest film in the Barbarian wave. Germany.
Okay.
I think that was German, but I'm not sure. And I
think it is. Yeah.
It probably didn't translate.
Let's just admit this film is a ripoff of earlier, better films.
Yeah. It translates into Alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei.
Oh, now there we go.
Oh, there we go.
How come you're not correcting my German pronunciations?
Because that's not actually what that means. It means everything has an end, but a sausage has 2. Anywho, so the last one we've got is fierce torture from the battles of the barbarian tribes. An avenger who killed to live and lived only to avenge the death of his loved ones. That's a long tagline.
That's some Madam Web chattiness right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
We use Avenger twice. He's an Avenger, and you know what he does?
He avenges. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Renee. And that's been Taglines with Chad. See, it's not good. I have these twitchy fingers, and they go double tap. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
As
Not
played
as much
by
as Chad
Renee.
does.
Chad is played by Renee. Yes. All right. Well, let's move on to some other stuff here. A poster.
Yeah.
Bill's got the posters, and there's a poster.
Yeah,
I feel bad having Renee by herself over there, so we'll just.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Renee.
Hi, Bill.
So that's the poster.
This is the one I remember, and you know,
I
couldn't afford Frazetta, but they got a guy who could. Are the ferrets in there? It's so small I can't see. But
I was looking around for them too, and I don't think I see them.
Unless that's them just hanging, one of them hanging right above.
It's a good. Oh yeah. What's he got in his arm?
I don't know.
His left arm.
Yeah.
Is he holding that bag with ferrets in it?
Bag of ferrets.
Yes, that's what it is. Bag of ferrets. Yeah. You can order that on Amazon.
It's a good design, but the art's a little lacking.
Art is a little lacking. You know?
Yeah.
And the eye ring. I didn't have any idea what the point of that was until I watched the movie.
Yeah, they didn't need to put that in, I don't think. I think because that's a scene I think you want to keep as like a little, not spoiler, but you know, you want that visual to be the first time you see it in the movie.
But it sells the premise. I mean, there's
It
beasts. He's the master of them. He doesn't wear a shirt. He's got
Yeah.
a lot like he's kind of like a smaller Conan.
He's got a
Tanya
cat.
Roberts is in it.
Tiny Roberts, and there's a black leopard. Wait, it's a tiger. Well, it's a black tiger.
And there's an eagle. Okay.
Yeah.
Win-win.
All right. So this is another poster that Bill came up with.
I like this one better. Although it's, I mean, I like the Panther, and it doesn't really look like the people there. I mean, he kind of looks like Dolph Lundgren from Masters of the Universe, and
Yeah.
and she looks gothed up, which I kind of like. But
Yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, and I'm not
Oh,
sure
there's-
what language that is.
I'm not either.
But there's a ferret.
Where's the ferret?
To his right.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yes. Got a tiger on one side and a ferret on the other. Boy,
That's symmetry.
yeah.
So we have Tanya Roberts on that side to kind of help.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. All right. So where do we go from here? Well, we did say this was based on an Andre Norton book, and I read a ton of Andre Norton books when I was a kid. She was a very popular author on the Scholastic Book Club, if I remember right, and carried on from there, purchasing from the local paper bookstore. 4 different covers. One appears to be a movie tie-in, I think. I would guess the second one down on the left kind of looks like a movie tie-in. The other ones don't.
She was not happy with the adaptation.
Yeah.
They really captured the eyebrows though on that first one.
Rip Torn's eyebrows.
Yeah. He's also the Beastmaster. It looked like 2 caterpillars fighting for dominance on his face.
Well, yeah, and I don't. She. I think I read that she wanted her name removed from this, but her name was on the one I watched. So
yeah,
I don't know if that changed over time or if they just ignored it.
Here's the way things work in Hollywood. The writer can want whatever they want. They're very unlikely to give a rat's patootie about what the writer wants. If they thought it would sell one more ticket, her name stays on the movie.
Yeah. Okay. And just Renee, just jump in whenever, because we tend to babble incessantly without.
It's funny because like sometimes I think to myself like I need to remember that I'm not just watching an episode, like I need to partake. Yeah. Like, oh right.
We also have, here is the director.
Oh, nice.
And I forgot about that. I really love John Dies at the end.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Really fun movie. But he's a guy who just makes a movie, I guess, when he wants to make a movie. And if nothing, catches, he really liked the Phantasm series, stuck with that. Bubba Hotep was great. I'm disappointed there hasn't been a sequel. There were plans, but it just never came together.
Yeah.
He's a good director.
Yeah, I love Bubba Hotep too. Right off, I mean, before I ever even saw it,
the premise sold me.
And Joe Lansdale. I love Joe Lansdale. Stuff.
Right.
So that's from one of his stories. It's just so good. I watched it. I bought the. I think it was a 4K, which I bought. Which is, you probably don't want 4K on there because you get to see a little. You get too much detail on the makeup.
Yeah,
the makeup. Yeah.
That is the curse of high def.
But it's a fun movie. So yeah, you're right, Bill. I mean, how much? That pretty much the main things he's done.
Yeah, the Phantasm franchise, and there's a few others. Just hasn't been that.
There
much.
are a bunch of Phantasm movies too.
Right? And this doesn't have the feel to me of what I would expect a film of his to be, except for those freaking vampire people, which is so out of the blue and so creepy.
Their little sacks reminded me of Killer Clowns.
Yeah, and then they show up again at the end. Why not? It's like, are they heroes now? I guess so, because they were my favorite part of the film for sure.
Weird.
Yeah, but this movie had to be a challenge because right from the get-go, the title, Beastmaster, we have to have beasts. We got a bunch of ADHD ferrets. They're uncontrollable, so you got to have dozens of them. You have an eagle that apparently didn't really want to fly, and according to some of the trivia on IMDb, they got it to fly by dropping it out of a trap door in a hot air balloon.
That's terrible.
Which is terrible.
You're gonna
although
fly now.
It's effective. It's like, yeah, okay. But it just feels like that's the solution you came up with. I mean, where do you get a hot air balloon with a trap door?
That's a really good point.
Okay, but here's the thing. Obviously, they didn't build a hot air balloon with a trap door just in case some filmmakers had a squirrely eagle that didn't want to fly. So why else would you put a trap door on a hot air balloon? Is this some kind of Mexican murder thing, syndicate there, that they take people up and then at the right moment just press the lever and down they go?
Hey, we need to wrench your trap door and hot air balloon.
It's for all those proposals gone wrong.
Yeah, like they're sitting around.
See if
like,
is done with it yet.
This eagle will just not fly. It's like, well, I got a hot air balloon with a trap door. We could use that. Like, why the hell would you have that? Maybe you need to stop asking questions. That's why I have it.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it was a fun shoot.
Yeah.
They fired the animal handler halfway through. You've got a painted tiger, and for some reason you fire the animal handler. What exactly brought that on?
Oh, really?
Yeah, what happened here? And they apparently the little kid could not be left. He could not be in the scene with the tiger because apparently the tiger would see him as a small, tasty treat.
Not surprising, actually.
Mm-hmm. I think it stemmed maybe from an incident with the bear in the beginning. Yeah, because I think there was an incident where the bear might have.
Oh yeah, yes, the bear attacked its own handler, and then
was he the one that they got rid of?
I don't know. That would certainly be good reason. Assuming he was still alive to fire. I mean, maybe he wasn't fired so much as buried.
Can you believe this stuff? Because that actually says, the bear happened to be a Russian bear, the only bear working in Hollywood at the time.
That's the reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. As soon as he came out, the bear broke loose and attacked his handler, sending the rest of the crew fleeing into nearby vehicles for safety. Well, I guess so. If he's going to attack the guy that feeds him. As soon as the bear was recaptured and the handler was carried off for medical attention, they informed Mark Singer that they were ready to film his scene.
Fine. He's full now. It's fine.
Yeah, the bear is plumb tuckered out now, so everything's fine. He's had his fill of man flesh for the day.
Exactly.
I was a little. Well, I'll wait till we get to the creatures here. Right. I think I'll remember. So yeah, he's got some great film. I'm not a huge fan of the Phantasm franchise, but it's cripes. It makes he kept making them. He made money. Mm-hmm. So here's our lead, Mark Singer.
Yep, he's pretty ripped.
And his he was. I'm not going to say he didn't look great.
He doesn't have what I would consider a Bronze Age haircut, but okay.
That haircut.
I don't really know what else he has been in.
He was in V.
That's
yeah. Yep.
Oh God.
Was he in? Oh, that was a TV show. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show.
Oh, weird.
See, I expected Crystal to have this all down.
Yeah.
She was all over Mark Singer, and I figured she would.
Oh, sure.
I feel like if Mark Singer was at Dragon Con selling autographs, I'd be like standing in line with Crystal to go get an autograph from Mark Singer.
Oh, I love it.
I might be wrong, but I don't think I am.
So there's some shots I was going to use for that info slide that I just thought looked I mean, there's one where he's standing in the clearing going, like he's trying to discern what the animals are thinking, and it just
Yes.
And again, if I was a kid, I would love that.
Yeah,
sure.
Surely one day I could do that.
But then you get older and you realize what the animal is thinking is like really, really basic. Like, caw, where's a rabbit I can kill?
Yeah.
If you're a ferret,
after I learn telekinesis, I will learn how to control animals.
Yeah.
It's like Aquaman. Aquaman talks to fish. What could the fish possibly say? What information can they impart? The water's warm. I like krill. Boy, do I like krill. Yeah, that's pretty much all the fish has got on a tiny little brain.
All right. Well, his co-star, which he immediately.
Now we're talking.
And I wonder what
goes for. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. She's got very pretty eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do have that one scene where she's walking away and he turns around, and I think he turns around and talks to the. Is he talking to the kid? Which is essentially his younger brother or younger half brother.
Yeah.
Why does she wear clothes like that? But he's got this glint in his eye when he says it. It's like.
And then she on the bottom became Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, which is like Beastmaster, only way worse. It's terrible.
Oh, they had to try. I guess.
She talks to birds and monkeys.
Well, she was a Bond girl.
Yes, she was. Was that
View
which
to
one
Kill.
was it? View to the Kill. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Oh, I do remember. I knew we did another movie that she was in, Tourist Trap on 70.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh.
I think she was better in that. This one, I don't know. She just seemed to be enacting a little girl like voice half the time.
Yeah. No.
It was okay. And so it was okay. That was my take on this. I'm watching this and I'm wondering, why does everybody love this so much? Well, it's because they saw it when they were kids.
They saw it at the right time.
At the right time, right?
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, man.
And again, this was a PG film somehow. I don't know how, but somehow they weren't paying attention. We got a PG film. And a lot of times when you went to see PG action movies, you didn't expect to see bone-dissolving vampire men, nudity.
Right.
Child sacrifice. This was like hard cutting edge for some of us.
Oh,
back in the day.
And killed dog too. That's another big
little baby.
Yeah.
The very last scene, though, it's very, very short. But in that very last scene, you can see there's just a little split second where he's like laying there breathing, and I was like, "That makes me feel better."
He's a good boy.
He is a good boy. He's the best.
Playing dead.
Boy.
I was impressed because I was watching for that. I missed it. I missed the actual breath, but
it was the shortest little scene.
Yeah.
But of course, I was focused on it because little puppy.
So yeah,
I liked when they killed the cow, and then they like focus away from it. All of a sudden, the cow had turned into like a big mound of.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they do a lot of fancy stuff with a lot of that, or not fancy stuff, but just cuts. Like you don't really see like. Isn't there what's the scene where they think the bat vampire people, whatever they are, don't they like take their heads off of the bad guys? All of a sudden, some big thing falls down right in front of Mark Singer when they wrap it.
I thought that was just like his bones or something. But
oh, okay. Well, you don't really get to see. It's not real obvious.
No, they were already skirting the edge. A little bit too much of that. They would have woken up and said, "Hey, we're going to make this an R movie."
Yeah.
Those were probably that and the leader of the Juns with that crazy helmet and the wings on it were the coolest. Were cool. That was cool.
That was cool. I think so. Tanya Roberts, I think I appreciated her performance more after. Speaking of Mohr, after having learned that was it Demi Moore that had had auditioned for it, and just the imagining her in that role. It just would not have worked. Like there's that like innocence and like naivete that Tanya had. I don't think that Demi could have done that.
You're making a good point. I mean, she was probably playing it the way they were going for. I think she was directed to be that way. Because she's not like that in Tourist Trap, or she seems like a
The director really wanted Demi Moore. but the studio
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The young Demi
so
Moore, I didn't find young Demi Moore as attractive as older Demi Moore. You know, like if you see her in Parasite, of course, that's sort of unfair because Parasite is terrible, really, truly terrible.
I was trying to think because I think that's when Demi Moore was on the soap opera.
Oh, that would make sense. I want to say she was like 15 years younger than Mark Singer when they did it. And the thing for me also is that young Demi Moore looks very young. And 34-year-old Mark Singer looks a little bit older than 34 to me.
Yeah.
Like, that would have probably just looked a little
creepy.
Yeah.
No, it was a different time, the Bronze Age, you know.
Yeah, 82 to 84, she was on General Hospital.
You know, people only lived to be like in the mid 30s, so you know.
It's true.
Back then, yeah. Except for Rip Torn.
Well, he's actually 37. But
then you had to deal with the teeth, right?
Right. Rip Torn was born old.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. Oh, he's hating life here. So Rip Torn, I will always, I mean, of course, Men in Black, he was great in that and everything. And I swear, Men in Black, does he look that much older than he does here? It's pretty much the same guy. But his most famous thing for me, and this is such an obscure, I can't remember the name of the film to tell you the truth. Norman Mailer, the great writer, dabbled in filmmaking. And his films are really cool to watch because they are terrible in a way that only a really talented person who thinks he can do something that he really can't do, make movies, are like. And so he made a film with Rip Torn, and it was a lot of improv. And at some point, everything got ugly, and I think one of them hit the other one on the head with a real hammer, not a prop hammer. And it's all on film. You can watch them chasing each other and smacking each other on the head with a hammer.
Oh my God!
And it's like, wow. And I admit I was only a few years younger than I am now before I even got the whole Rip Torn thing. It's like, oh yeah, he rips things and then it's torn. It's like, yeah.
Well,
I don't think that's his Christian name, but you know,
it is.
What? What a thing to do to a kid.
It's not his Christian name, but it is a family nickname.
Oh, wow.
His father was called Rip, and his father bestowed it on him as well. And his real name is Torn. Because I'm sitting here thinking, this guy had the same agent as like Tab Hunter and Rock Hudson.
Right. Rock Hudson.
Rory Calhoun. You know.
Yeah, we're going to give you a name that sounds like you're a character on the Flintstones.
I don't know if I should read this or not.
Uh-oh.
I haven't had time to check this out.
Yeah.
Some crazy stuff. Well, first off, he filed he won a $475,000 defamation suit against Dennis Hopper for something Hopper said on the Tonight Show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're kidding me.
He won it in May 1994. So apparently disparaging things about Rip. Now, here's the good one. In 2010, he was arrested in Salisbury, Connecticut, after police found him passed out holding a loaded gun on the floor of a bank that had just been broken into.
Shut the front door.
Wow.
Torn was drunk and thought the bank was his home. He was charged with criminal trespass.
I had no idea I had this much money.
He was charged with criminal trespass, carrying a firearm without a permit, carrying a firearm while intoxicated, burglary, and criminal mischief. He entered a plea of guilty and was given a suspended 2.5-year prison sentence, 3 years of probation, during which time he was forbidden from carrying a firearm and agreed to be subject to random drug and alcohol testing.
Oh, he had to give up alcohol? Ooh.
I hope that, I hate to say it that way. I was going to say, I hope that that's true because I don't want to be spreading rumors.
Well, he's no longer with us. Oh, listen,
I hate to admit this, but I do understand being so drunk and not knowing where you're at. I mean, that happens. Yeah. You read about it in the paper and people bang on the door. And I'll tell you a story later, but it was a long time ago.
Listen, if Rip Torn, Dennis Hopper, and Norman Mailer got together, I fully expect they will drink the town dry. There will not be, a drop left for anyone else.
But I like him as an actor. He plays these characters. He died in 2019.
Yeah.
At the age of 88.
He got out just in time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, you know who they wanted originally for this role? No, this is and okay, Rip Torn was a crazy man, but they dodged a bullet. They wanted Klaus Kinski.
Oh, I did see that. I thought about it.
Ooh, yikes!
Oh man, he might have actually thrown that kid in the fire.
Yeah, Klaus Kinski would just throw kids into the fire like I am a method actor.
It's funny. Sorry. When I grew up, for quite a while, it took me a long time to kind of connect the dots. But when I grew up, I was always a little bit weary of Mr. Torn. Didn't quite know why. But I was like, something about that guy seems kind of fishy. And of course, later I realized it's because he was, the bad guy in Beastmaster that I probably watched every week when I was 5. Because why was I watching that movie when I was 5? I don't know. But here we are.
Look at that shot on the bottom. Why are these two celebrating early when Rip Torn is still alive and he's got a knife? Of course he's going to try to stab you in the back. That's what he does.
That's what I do. That was another thing I thought of about Crystal was they stab him in the ribs and he falls down and then they walk away from him like
double
it's
tap
all over. And I'm like, come on, lop his head off. Something. You got to finish this guy.
Finish the job. They never finish the job in movies.
This is a time of sword and sorcery. Lopping off his head might not even work, but it's definitely worth trying.
So he did. Rip Torn has like 190 credits on IMDb.
He was a working actor,
starting in the 50s through the 60s on all kinds of television shows and also parts in movies. I mean, everything from The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Rawhide, 12 O'Clock High, Dr. Kildare, Combat, Ben Casey, and did I say Rawhide? The Cincinnati Kid. He was in that film.
Well, he's a natural heel. I mean, he's a heavy.
And did episodes of Hitchcock, right? So,
of course, he was working all the time. Look, I'm not looking on Wikipedia to find out, but I'm going to make a guess that this man had more than one marriage. I think there were probably some alimony things that needed to be paid.
I think you're right.
It's like, what? Kinski won't do this for this money? I'll do it for that amount of money.
Exactly.
Had 3 wives. Oh, he was married to Geraldine Page at one time.
Oh, wow. That must
for like 20 some years, from 63 to 87. Wow.
That's a pretty long Hollywood marriage then.
There are a long list of Torns and children too. To name. His real first name is Elmore.
Oh, good choice to go to Rip. Yeah. Elmore Torn. Yeah.
He was you can't forget him. He's got a look and he's got a name. The two things.
Yeah.
Right.
I've
never mixed him up with Rip Taylor.
Well, I was just going to say, it would have been great if, he throws a kid into the fire and then takes out a box of confetti. Da 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 da.
Oh, that would have been so good.
He was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in Cross Creek, 1984.
I don't think I remember that.
Mary Steenburgen, Peter Coyote. It's a Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. It was based on a book, I believe. Anyway.
Too fancy for the likes of us.
One of those Southern dramas, which he would be really good in. I think. Rip Torn. Another guy from my childhood.
Rest in peace.
But we really need to know.
Yeah.
Who are the beasts of Beastmaster?
Beasts of Beastmaster.
They're so cute.
Dyed tiger, fun ferrets, uncooperative bird.
The names of the ferrets are.
Oh, it's like Podo and Kodo. Because I always like to think of them as Ogo and Pogo, which is the
Oh.
name of a famous Canadian lake monster. Because
That's right, Ogo
as we
Pogo.
know that, Mark Singer is a Canadian actor. But yeah, I think it was like Poto and Kodo or something. But I prefer.
Yeah.
Pogo.
Well, and the dog's name was Toto.
Stop it.
With a D. When they first did Toto, and then he named
Toto.
D's.
That's right, with the D.
And then he goes, and here's my tiger friend. I expected him to have an Odo name too.
Odo.
You know.
Well, his parents named him Dar. Okay, he doesn't have a whole lot of background in great names.
Yeah.
I will say the best acting in this movie, the best acting, and it's spoiler alert, but and for animal lovers, this is going to hurt hard. But when one of the ferrets sacrifices his life in a noble, last stand, the other ferret looked genuinely upset. I was upset. I'm like, oh wait, God, gee.
There was a lot of traumatic ferret scenes, like the
Yeah,
quicksand. That jacked me up. I was like,
he thought nothing of.
Again, it was like quicksand is everywhere.
Oh well, yeah. In these movies, quicksand's like the number one way you're gonna die.
Right.
I grew up believing that. I mean, I know that's like a meme now, but I genuinely believe that you could be just minding your own business, walking through the woods, and all of a sudden you step in something that looks like oatmeal floating in water, which of course is what it was, and it sucks you down. The only thing that's left is your hat.
Mm-hmm.
So we did there was a modern movie that's like within the last couple of years called Quicksand. It was a South American movie.
Oh.
And they debunked because of that movie. I went and read about how all the things that happen to you in quicksand, that's all baloney. Mm-hmm. It works a totally different way. But
yeah,
I'm with you. Growing up watching Westerns in the 60s, after you've done 50 or 60 episodes, where's the tension going to come from? Oh, the danger. He falls into this quicksand. So
you're doomed unless somebody can throw you a vine, or you were doing this with Lassie. And Lassie was smart enough not to fall in the quicksand. Lassie stopped at the edge, but Timmy, like a moron, just kept right on walking. Go get help, girl. Yeah.
Yes.
I did feel bad for that tiger. I heard rumors that the tiger died because it was dyed, that it licked off the dye and it got sick. But I have not been able to find anything that substantiate that. So I think that was one of those 80s legends that kids would pass around to each other, like, oh yeah, I heard the youngest kid on the Brady Bunch was killed when her scarf got caught in the bus of her school bus and dragged her to her death. Oh, that went through my school like you can't believe. We totally believe that.
Oh.
Why is she still there? I guess it's
3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, from my point of view anyway, you guys tell me if it looked that way to you. The tiger looked in different scenes, went anywhere from majestic to really kind of like scruffy looking, like
I'd heard that they
pulled him out of his cage or something.
Several tigers, so maybe that was why.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or he was getting sick from licking off this dye.
Oh, little man. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of names, I mean, Rip Torn's name is Mayax, which is Max with 2 A's in it.
Mayax.
And Dar's father's name is Zed.
Oh, that's right.
With 2 E's.
We find out that in Pulp Fiction, Zed's dead.
Zed's dead, baby.
But until then, we didn't know for sure.
Dar is still around. They should have had a meeting of Dar and Yor, Hunter of the Future.
So yeah, the eagle was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ferrets, I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah, what are they going to do? They steal things. They're good at stealing things.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger was kind of cool. So yeah,
if you could train a ferret to do anything, they'd probably be fantastic thieves.
Here, I'm going to drop you down into this pit where you're most certainly going to get killed, and all you have to do is get those keys.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good, Dar.
Easy peasy.
And then we have the monsters.
That's
the vampire person there.
Yeah.
Bat person.
I guess
that was a cool thing.
It is cool. And it makes sense. The design makes sense. They don't have mouths, so how are they going to eat? Well, they, like a fungus, they absorb things through their leathery wings. Not that funguses have leathery wings. Work with me here. Yeah, they're cool. That's a cool design. It doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense why they're in the movie and everything, but okay.
Yeah, I would like to see them in another movie.
Yeah.
I don't know which one, but
It's a neat concept.
I love the guy in the middle. That middle picture, the guy with the spiked pants and
speaking of Pulp Fiction, I think we got the GIMP here.
The S&M mask. Yeah. Well, who knows? I'm sure Tarantino saw this movie multiple times.
Yeah. And he's scared when he's running through that maze, and those guys see him coming. They're scared, probably with good reason. He's going to kill us. Oh, if only he would just kill us.
Yeah. Oy.
That was just so weird. And the bad guys, most of them couldn't talk, right? They just growled and ran, And what are we seeing in the bottom? Is that the guy that
it's more vampire? More
okay.
Vampire people.
I like that scene because he like captured the sword in his hands and then bloop, dropped like the little ring or something down. So I don't know why, I just enjoyed that.
Yeah, what was that? I didn't get that. Was that to tell him that they were on his side or something?
I think it was like the little emblem that like showed the temple. I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I like the guy with the helmet. I thought it was ridiculous. How much fighting can you do with these wings that stick out like 3 feet on each side?
Yeah.
You're intimidating. You want the enemy to just run at the sight of you, and then you don't have to fight.
Exactly.
That's Sun Tzu logic right there.
Yeah, but once he made the mistake of was he the one he shot the boy with an arrow, right? And then Tanya runs over there and is waiting on the boy, and then he changes his focus to Dar, and then doesn't Tanya she grabs something and stabs him or something, and then Dar comes running up, spins, and kicks him into the
fire,
the moat of fire.
Right.
Gotta keep your eye on the prize.
Boy, that moat blowed up real good.
Yeah, well,
that was awesome. I don't know. Well, did you notice in the credits why they would put this person in? As they had these 3 witches that were pretty gnarly. One of them was Janet Jones.
What's Janet Jones from?
Well, she was what was she on a police academy? She would be best known as the person who married Wayne Gretzky, probably.
Okay.
But a beautiful blonde that did movies like that for 6 or 7 years, and
then retired to become Mrs. Gretzky, which
she still made some movies later on, but they're they're all like 2, 3, 4, 5 years apart, kind of thing. So, but yeah, I recognized her name, and I don't know why, because I'm not a big hockey fan. That's about all I got. So, I apologize to the lovers of this movie. I don't mean to disparage it. I think I understand why you might love it. If I had grandkids that were like 5 to 10 years old, I would definitely watch it with them now. Although kids are so jaded now, I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Anyway,
like the hallway with the bodies on the spikes, like that's pretty much, I think, high school talk, right?
That was creepy looking. So there's some good images in here. I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, the cinematographer, I believe, was actually very notable. I'm trying to remember what he did, but because they lost the negative. The negative to this film has been lost. And the director put out a call, if anyone has it, like why, they left it in a house and they can't find it now. If anyone has it, please bring it so they can use it to make some good copies. And he said it's crazy that a film with a cinematographer as good as this one, would be lost, but them's the breaks in Hollywood.
Wow.
Say he won an Oscar for cinematography for Barry Lyndon.
Oh my God, Barry Lyndon is one of the most beautifully photographed movies ever made. Wow, boy, that just shows you if I think the real fun in Hollywood, everybody wants to be a famous actor. Your career grows and dies and blah. But if you're technically good, if you're a good cinematographer, there's the fun. You get to, work with really good people, pick your projects. But you get to go and you know, fill up your time. I'm going to do Beastmaster this week. I'm going to make a film with Stanley Kubrick for the next 2 years, probably.
Also,
and you can go
Clockwork
out and do
Orange.
anything. What's that?
What was that?
Also, Clockwork Orange.
Oh God!
Oh.
He had a relationship with Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, he didn't hate him enough to kill him. So yeah, that's
he was listed as camera and electrical department for 2001.
I think also a good thing about that kind of job is you can like go out and live your life. More often than not, people won't be like, "You're that guy.
You're the guy who lit."
Oh, right.
Barry
right.
Lyndon.
Yeah.
Dude, how'd you do all those scenes with the candles, dude? No, nobody would know. No one would know you at all.
His last movie, and this is one I watched a bunch, was No Way Out.
Oh yeah, Kevin Costner.
With Kevin Costner
okay.
and
Sean Young.
Sean Young, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know. Did he died? Oh, that's why. He died in his 50s.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, seriously, 50s. My God.
He was very talented.
Heart attack in 1986.
That sucks.
Anyway, yeah, good cinematographer, and it looked good. It looked good. I'm glad you brought that up because I had forgotten that. That was the big one, John Alcott. Anything else anybody wants to say about this?
No, that's it for me.
Yeah. Oh, John Amos.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You didn't do John Amos.
How could you forget John Amos?
I thought I
missed him. I missed him. You did.
Yeah,
I jumped over him from. Thank you very much, Renee.
Thank you, Renee.
He's one of these people that, much like Rip Torn, I grew up loving him. I didn't really know what it was about him that I just loved. Because I didn't, and at the time I was thinking, like, I didn't watch a lot of Good Times. They just didn't connect in my head. And it's like, oh, of course, that's why I loved him, because he was an angel.
Yeah, I loved Good Times. I was a big fan of Good Times. I would not have recognized. Okay, well, first of all, as everyone knows, I'm totally face blind. So there's that. But also, I love the character in Good Times. I was heartbroken when they wrote him off and killed him.
Yes.
And listen, I knew that the dad on Good Times is not someone that I would give any sass to. I'm not. This doesn't look like a man who's going to take a lot of back talk. But I had no idea that he could kick my ass to an incredible degree until I see him in Beastmaster, and he's a freaking Beastmaster. He's a beast there. Look at him. He is way strong. He should be in a Conan movie, taking on Conan. Yeah, he'd lose, but he'd put up a good fight. He looks like a regular guy, like a regular dad in Good Times.
Does.
I can't believe they passed up the opportunity to just one day have him rip off his shirt and Hulk out at some, racist or guy who's messing with JJ.
Something.
Yeah. But apparently the people he wanted to Hulk out at were the ones who were writing the show, because he wanted it to be a serious, situation comedy, and they realized early on they just needed to get Jimmy JJ Walker in there as early as possible and do the dynamite as many times as possible, and audience would applaud.
Well,
that's what happens.
This is kind of interesting in terms of television, quote unquote, magic. He was only 9 years older than Jimmy Walker.
Wow.
He was 19 years younger than Esther Roll.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Esther's a cougar.
Yeah.
Yeah, robbing the cradle there. Good for you, girl. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I see that? Oh, it was Golden Gloves boxing champion.
Believable.
So
yeah.
Physique, yeah. Had signed a free agent contract with American Football League's Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
But was strongly urged by head coach Hank Stram to pursue his heart as a writer.
Oh, that's sweet.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was probably a best choice, because he would have ended up getting concussions and lost part of his brain. Jeez.
Oh, I forgot about this. He played, did he play the sports guy on Mary Tyler Moore?
Yes. Yes, I think he did.
It says he's the last adult survivor of the recurring performers on the Mary Tyler Moore show.
Yeah. Now, if you've seen some of the recent stuff, it's a little sad. He and his wife elderly in decline, and there's been a lot of whether they've been abused by some of their caretakers and stuff. That came out,
that's not good.
I think the kids are fighting over it, and it's just an unfortunate, an unfortunate end to someone who seems like a really cool guy.
Well, he did, and I think the thing that always struck me about him is he had this really hearty laugh, is what I remember from. But yeah, you didn't want to mess with him.
He was great in Good Times. Good Times doesn't get all the credit it deserved. I mean, it's a spin-off of Maude, which was a spin-off of All in the Family, and they did a good until it became just the Jimmy Walker Show. I'm not blaming Jimmy Walker because obviously they knew this was where their bread was buttered, but it did a pretty good job of showing a working class family struggling, but they had that love. It's very family oriented. They're in a bad neighborhood and everything, but it did it with really good humor, but wasn't afraid to sometimes tackle serious things. Now, it's been a long time since I've seen it, so maybe it was more heavy-handed than I remembered it. But you watch some of those shows back then, and they could surprise you sometimes. Hitting a tough topic and doing it in a way that's not just pure black and white, good guys, bad guys, some nuance there. It was good. It was a good show. But I was heartbroken when they killed him. And God, that was the most, that show hits even more now. But
well, did he want off it, or did they?
Yeah, he basically told him you got to write better stuff. And he caused a fuss, and they were like,
Well, he was in Two Evil Eyes.
Yeah.
The Argento Romero,
he was a detective in that.
Yeah, partnership. Also, 20-some episodes of The West Wing.
Oh,
he had gravitas. So I hope things work out better than the last I heard.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's always sad.
Yeah. All right, thanks for bringing that up, Renee.
Yes, Renee.
Got too sidetracked. All right, I think maybe we should go to
feedback.
Feedback. Is that what we're doing now?
Sounds good.
Let's get started here. That's it for Beastmaster. And I did a poor job of representing Crystal with the things I thought she would say, but at any rate. All right, feedback. You guys down to feedback?
We're down for it.
Bill, who wants to take? You want to take
sure, Jose?
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Our friend Jose Luis Herrera
Identity.
Thank you. 9987. He's the 9987th to come up with that name. That's hard to believe, but it's a big world. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I have this one on DVD. My father and I used to love watching Movie Macabre in the mid-'80s on Saturday nights before WWF wrestling, and sure do remember seeing this one on VHS the first time. This was some good parenting right there, let me just tell you. WWF and Movie Macabre. Yeah, that's great. That's how a kid grows up. We had 2 Christmas ornaments we referred to as hooker tassels that look just like the ones in the last scene. The line I remember most, pick a tool and start banging.
Oh, Lord. We keep talking about movies you watch when you're a kid, but you know how many people we had make comments about The Exorcist?
Yeah, I saw it when I was 5.
They watched it when they were 5. I'm like, what? Okay.
It came on after Heckle and Jekyll. Yeah, okay.
All right. Renee, you up for reading one of these?
Sure.
We have, for episode 173, Society, another Jose.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I've read a lot about this one and seen many reviews, but sadly, I've not seen it. I'll have to see if I can find it. Streaming as Arrow Blu-ray is stupid expensive. I would probably agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
you're probably worth it. Arrow puts out a great product.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I'm not just saying that because I hope they're going to send me free stuff for pimping them. They genuinely put up great stuff, and they usually have some wonderful behind the scenes and extra footage, and just good stuff.
Yeah,
Arrow's the best.
Yeah, and Jose's interesting because he's seen an incredible amount of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, just like us, there's
Right.
stuff
There's
there
a few
that
that have slipped between the cracks.
Yeah.
You can't watch everything. Were you on that? I can't remember which DOH it was, but Chad was saying, you know, my goal when I was young was to watch every horror movie made.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point I realized it was impossible. I was depressed for weeks. All right, episode 209, The House by the Cemetery, Bill, from Raymond K, maybe. Ramon K. I'm finally digging it. I have to read these names a bunch of times.
It's like license plates. You know, you'll get it eventually.
So I'm pretty sure it's Ramon K because the K is capitalized. But Ramonk is a great one too. Yeah, Ramonk.
Poor Ramon. We're sorry.
Yeah. Concerning Freudstein's good hand, is this not only Sylvia Colatini's hand, but May's hand as well? Finally, Freudstein is using body parts from his victims, and the doll with only one arm May gave to Bob could also point in that direction. So one can assume that Freudstein also used parts of Mrs. Freudstein's body as well, which would explain why her grave is empty. Ramon, you are putting way more thought into this than Lucio Fulci did. You're probably absolutely right. That makes perfect sense.
I actually went back and listened to the podcast and while I was doing other stuff, and I see where this, because we were sort of talking about how his one good hand, Freudstein's one good hand, was very feminine, and one of the trivia items said it was Sylvia's hand.
So he's like killing people and absorbing them to become more human.
Sylvia
Well, he's obviously not doing a very good job because he is one messed up looking guy. Boy, that is, nothing looks quite as husky as
falling behind. All right.
Freudstein.
Appreciate there, Ramon. Episode 240, Luther the Geek, from Jose. Renee, have you ever seen Luther the Geek?
I don't want to say, unfortunately. I have. It just didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's a lot. Yeah. But
that's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's as strange as they come.
Yeah. So let's see. Luth the Geek. You stumped me on this one. Never even heard of it. That's probably good. Trauma. Trauma. I find the films they picked up for release to be pretty shabby, but I have to admit to liking some of their productions much of the time. Pure trash, offensive, and vile, but the kind of film you look around, close the drapes, and push play.
Because you don't want the neighbors to know you're watching a trauma film.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you certainly don't want them to know you're watching Luther the Geek.
That's right.
It was, and that came up from, there was one of our listeners that was sort of a friend of Santos that was text me periodically, and he kept bringing up Luther the Geek. And then I was talking about it, I think, with Chad, and then I think Chad actually picked it, didn't he? Chad
probably.
Likes to go
it seems like Chad likes to make a stuffer
to kind of surprise us. So it ain't for everybody. All right, episode 254, The Queen of Black Magic, from Mikey Z. Scott Wells was our guest host on that one. Bill,
that's right. Great to see Scott Wells of Saturday Mad Theater discuss this interesting Indonesian tale of witches and revenge. Scott, great pick. I need to see this. Susanna has such alluring eyes. You did a great job. Congrats. Bill, on Hunchback Debate, both are great films, but Chaney's acting and self-applied makeup for me, hands down. The advice
Bill was professing Charles Laughton's Hunchback as the best one versus Lon
and I'm right, but I respect Mikey's
as
counter wrong opinion. They're both great.
We live in a world where you can both be right.
That's right. This isn't politics. We can disagree and still be friends. The advice Ralph gave me was to be myself. Maybe not the best advice, knowing how much I like to ramble on. Hey, they still got me, man. Thanks to Ralph and Alistair as well. Be prepared, know your subject. For any future co-host, just relax and let the conversation happen, because that's what it is. Flow naturally. Imagine being in someone's living room and chatting about a subject. Again, thanks to the Grue Crew for this opportunity. Love all you guys, because not all of us are guys. Yeah. All of our guests have been fantastic. As much as we're looking forward to Chad coming back, it has been just a blast to have people come in and get to put, in some ways, get to put faces to the notes that we've been getting. It's good. It's really cool. And
even
they're all
as
talented.
The viewer, it's like, oh yeah, I've heard his comments a million times. Yeah.
So we have one from Renee St. Aubin.
Oh God, that woman rambles.
Probably in response to when we announced that the Beastmaster was our next episode.
Who should read that one?
Renee, maybe?
Yeah.
I was excited about coming, so I said that I can't wait. And I also cannot wait for Jerry to send me that bribe money. So, yeah.
See, you should have picked Demonoid. He would have got you a car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, catch me back here in about a month and we'll cover Demonoid. We'll cover it on our podcast.
This is true. Well, that Jerry, anyway. He's doing
Ghost
70s.
Yeah.
He's doing 70s, and he picked Ghost Galleon, but
how exciting!
He thought I was asking him for 80s, and top of the list. Demonoid.
Yeah, Demonoid.
Oh, you broke his heart.
Yeah,
I did. I said no.
No.
So anyway, we'll do that.
No.
I would actually probably rather do that than this one.
Well, but we got to wait till Chad's back, because Demonoid has a separate.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
It's all about the severed hand.
So anyway, well, actually, I think Jerry said, unless I'll have to read that again. Did he say if Chad's back, we'll do Demonoid, or did he say Chad's back, we will Demonoid unless Chad's back, then we'll do something else?
See, he has sending. Yeah, he's regards Chad's feelings, whereas I just want to make him suffer through Demonoid.
Yeah,
double whammy.
Yeah.
Is that all of them? I think it is.
Yes, that is all of them. I'm sorry.
We're in strong.
Yes, we did.
Oh,
thank you, Renee.
Yes, thank you, Renee.
And it's all good-natured teasing about the Beastmaster.
No, I love it. I love it. A lot of flack on our show.
Please don't send angry ferrets to Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what we're doing next, because it's Crystal's pick.
Ooh.
And so we will find out. It's a mystery. I'm willing to bet it's not Demonoid.
No.
But you never know. Know.
That would be something.
So everybody, please, there's plenty of ways to stay in touch. We'd love in touch. We love to we love reading your feedback and hearing what you say about the films and answering questions that we brought up. It's great. I mean, somebody pulls out a comment on an episode from what are we on? 255, like 50 episodes ago. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember what the heck we said.
Tell us what we got wrong.
But yeah, and answering that question. So that's awesome.
And they're not only letters; they're sort of auditions. Like your face could be.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Here,
yes.
right there. We're God, everything's reversed there. That could be you.
Mm-hmm.
You could be.
We understand not everybody wants to do this too.
No. Only gluttons for punishment.
All right.
Yeah.
So make comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, or send them to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or you can leave comments on Gruesome Magazine's H&R and DOH podcast Facebook group. Love you guys. Love you all. That's it for this episode. And again, we'll be back in 2 weeks, but we have no idea what it's going to be. Yeehaw. So make sure you join us and find out what movie we're doing. Thanks again, Renee, and thanks for the time and investment, and for making the suggestion and showing some enthusiasm and joining us.
Yeah.
Catch us again in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the 80s, as only decades of horror can do it. Say good night, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.